It's Wednesday, it's hump day in Allen Park, and Carlos Monarrez is in here to join me on Freak.com. Carlos, the Lions have a big game this weekend. The 2-0-1 Lions against the 3-0 Kansas City Chiefs. Two undefeated teams coming to town. And
one of only 2 games between undefeated teams in the NFL this week.
That's right. Let's jump right in. The other one being the Patriots against the Buffalo Bills.
We know how that one's going to end up, too.
But let's jump right into this. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are... they're still trying to figure out what the Lions are, right? You blow a game against the Arizona Cardinals. A couple good wins the last 2 weeks, but also against teams that, have had some injury problems. Mm-hmm. So this is sort of a statement game, right? I mean, this is a game where we're going to find out who the real Lions team is. Do they get unmasked? Are they a legit contender? I did a little radio hit yesterday with Mike Valenti, and he said something to me. He said he thinks that if the Lions play well in a loss, that will speak more to him than their wins the last 2 weeks. And I agree with that totally. I think this is a very much a statement game against one of the 2 best teams in the NFL.
I think that the Lions have, I'll say I think that they've already made a statement. They've proved that they're better than we thought they would be, I think, at this point, 2-0-1. I don't think a lot of people had them at 2-1. And I think Mike's right. If they don't get embarrassed, let's just be honest about it. If they hold close, they get, they do some right things. That even if they lose, I think, the moral victory, whatever you want to call it, I think that's going to still say that, there's potential with this team going forward.
Now, I think, the Lions will certainly downplay that, right? They're certainly poo-pooing the fact that this is a statement game. I mean, Matt Patricia, hey, it's 1-game seasons. It's 1 week at a time. Trey Flowers, we asked him on Monday, one of those days, about that, and he sort of said, you can call it that if you want, or you can say that if you want, being a litmus test. But, I just don't get the sense that players want to go there because it's September, and maybe because it's a little bit of a fear of, hey, if we do lose to the Chiefs, what does it say about us, right? I mean, nobody wants to admit that, it's a statement game, and then you go out and lose, and what statement do you make?
Well, let's be honest. The only time they'll ever own whether it's a statement game is if they win.
Absolutely.
Then it's after, look what we did against the Chiefs. It's a statement game. It tells you.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at the statement we made.
I think that you should, whether it's private, I think they should embrace wanting this challenge. And Flowers did say as much, that they like good competition and all that. Without saying statement game, they know that they want to go against the best, test themselves against good competition, see how it comes out. And like we said, even if you don't get the doors blown off you, this is a really high-powered offense, the best quarterback in the NFL, probably the best tight end in the NFL. If you hold it together against this team, it gives you, some encouragement.
All right, let's talk about the best quarterback in the NFL for a minute, Patrick Mahomes.
Matthew Stafford?
Mahomes is the real deal. I mean, I was thinking as we sat down to shoot this, whether I would make this statement or not, that is he going to be the best quarterback in NFL history when all is said and done? He's played 2 years. He won an MVP last year. He's going to throw for 50 touchdowns again this year if he stays healthy. I mean, obviously far too early to say that with any certainty. And Tom Brady's got all those rings, and obviously there were some great quarterbacks back in the day. But the trajectory that Patrick Mahomes is on, the type of player that he appears to be right now, the fit that he is in Andy Reid's offense, what they want to do with the skill guys that they have around him. I mean, he's a special quarterback. And look, Lions fans, he's not going to be back at Ford Field for 8 years, right? The AFC teams come here every 8 years. So if you want to go see Patrick Mahomes, you want to see him in his prime, you want to see one of the best quarterbacks maybe in NFL history, you need to go see him Sunday, because he's not going to be back here again for another 8 years.
Super Bowl, when's the Super Bowl? Could be, right?
Between the Lions and the Chiefs, but that wouldn't be at Ford Field.
Yeah, so could still go. Road trip. You
can go see that one. No, but I mean, how impressive are you watching Patrick Mahomes and the things that he can do?
Yeah, I mean, the dude is a special talent, and I think that the one thing is, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit. We've kind of been down the road a little bit with some other quarterbacks in the past, the Mike Vicks, the electric guys, good arms, really athletic. Can he keep doing it? Will he stay? Will the system always fit him? Will they always have the players to make it? I mean, Kelsey turns 30 next week. So, if you can keep getting those guys in there, keep that offense dynamic. And it's also a league of adjustments, Teams are going to figure out a way to put some kind of handcuffs on him, I mean, they just can't let him run. I mean, he's a special talent in the pocket, out of the pocket. Patricia talked about how one of the things is he sees the field now better than he did last year. He's always looking downfield, looking for his, open guys. So, it would be cool if that maintains and he keeps his upward trajectory. But you've had great quarterbacks in this league. You know, you had the Dan Marinos and the Bradys and the Elways and all these guys, right? Montana in my day.
Well, I think
Steve Young.
In that group, he will be in that group when all is said and done, because that's what sort of special talent he is. And Patricia did have a great line today when someone asked him, you know, would you rather keep him in the pocket or out of the pocket? He said, neither. You know, I'd rather keep him on the bench because of all the things he can do.
That's the game plan. That is the game plan to limit how many touches that offense gets, you know. But they also score instant points, you know. I mean, they could go, like you saw in the AFC Championship game last year where they scored like in no time. That obviously didn't win, but that's just a high-powered offense. Now, how much I've heard, right, that he has not played in a dome in the NFL yet.
Oh, is that right?
I believe I heard that. In college, I think he had, but not in the NFL. You put any credence in how loud Ford Field is going to be this Sunday?
I think it'll be loud, but also, you know, playing on the turf is going to make all of his weapons that much faster. Look, and here's another stat for you that Charles Davis brought up to me today. That said,
so we've dropped Mike Valenti, Charles Davis. Anybody else you want to drop in? Talk to the commissioner, Dave. Come on.
I was talking to Roger Goodell, and Charles Davis for a little thing I'm going to write later this week, and he said Patrick Mahomes in 20 starts in the NFL, regular season starts. You could throw this in for the playoffs too. His team has never scored less than 26 points in any of those games.
No,
this is the NFL we're talking about.
I know
that is an amazing number, 26 points. Even he started one game as a rookie, you know, all 16 obviously last year, but. You know, back to your point about this is how they're going to have to play to win, right? Slow the game down, run the ball, just extend possessions, keep that offense off the field. That's part of what I was talking to Charles about earlier, because the Chiefs, last year, their losses, you know, they put up 51 points or whatever in the loss to the Rams. I think they averaged like close to 40 points in their 4 losses, which was more points than they averaged in their wins. So I don't know. Can you outscore this team if you're the Lions? Do you have to play that way? I don't know. If you're the Lions, how do you go about trying to beat this team? Their defense, you know, that's the one weakness is the defense, even though they've got some players, obviously. Frank Clark, Honey Badger. They got a few players. Chris Jones. But, you know, can you outscore this team if you're the Lions? Or do you have to play a lower scoring game?
I think you have to try to play a lower scoring game. The problem is that you're not going to control that. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the Lions defense has not been lights out. You know, you got to, whether Jarius Slay plays or not, you know, you don't think he's going to be 100% with that hamstring. Right. So there's some issues there, I think. But I don't know.
I think you're right.
Take the restraints, the restrictor plate off Stafford, and just air it out. We need Stafford out there.
I think you're 100% right, because you know I just look at Matt Patricia's history, right? When they play good quarterbacks, they don't want to let those guys have possessions. You know, if they can chew up more play clock, if they can own the time of possession battle, if they can get 20 rushes out of Kerryon Johnson again, that means they're doing something well. That means they're playing the type of game they want to play. And so I think it's important for them to try to do that. Now look, if this game gets away from you, I don't think the Lions can't score, because it's not like the Chiefs have a top 5 defense in the NFL, but their best chance of winning is just to play that low scoring, grind it out, muck it up game where all of a sudden you look up in the fourth quarter and maybe you're like, this game wasn't too entertaining, but hey, the Lions are within 6 points here. So I think that's their recipe for victory.
I think the defense is going to have something. The Lions defense is going to have something to say. They proved to be, you know, opportunistic so far. They've created some turnovers. I think that's going to be. It may come down to some play like that, you know, where whether they can make it or not. But I think the defense has shown it. Although it hasn't been a shutdown type defense, you know, they pick their spots, they choose their spots, and I think they need to be physical. They need to get those offensive skill players, you know, uncomfortable, whatever that means. You know, they need to jam them at the line, do something. You know, I don't know how the blitz works out for the Chiefs. You know, good quarterbacks usually beat the blitz pretty easily, but something. They got to make something in to get Mahomes uncomfortable, get the skill guys uncomfortable, and really be opportunistic for getting that ball out.
Well, we'll hop into a little more of the game preview stuff Friday when we make our predictions for this game, see if the Lions can get to 3-0-1. But
can you imagine what would happen, Dave? 3-0-1. We're not getting, but I'm just
look, all of a sudden
people lose their minds.
Yeah, you're talking about, hey man, this is a team, like there's some belief all of a sudden that not just are they, you know, this team that, hey, maybe is in the playoff hunt late in the year, but then all of a sudden you start thinking about, hey, Can we get a home playoff game? Can we, what can this team be for us? So, yeah, I think, back to what we talked about originally. It's the Lions have a chance to make a statement about how good they are, where they've come from. If they can beat the Chiefs, hang with the Chiefs, I think we will find out a lot about this team, win or lose, come Sunday.
And I think it's going to be different. I mean, last year I think that the team didn't respond the best after they beat the Patriots, but the Patriots also banged up in that game. But I think they learned something from that. Not getting ahead of ourselves, not reading too much into one game necessarily. But this is a legitimate Chiefs team, and can you take advantage of a good team that's coming in, a really good team at home? What can you do? And you're hot right now. The Slay injury could be significant, but
Chiefs will be without Tyreek Hill too.
True.
It all evens out. That's why, as much as we say, the Lions beat a couple banged up teams, it all evens out. And the Lions weren't healthy in either of those games either. So, but we'll see. Again, we'll be back Friday to preview all that. But for now, Lions have a chance to make a statement Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 unbeaten teams. As always, we'll chronicle all the coverage on Freak.com. For Carlos Monarrez, I'm Dave Birkett. Thanks for joining us here on Facebook Live.